What's going on, everyone? So earlier today, we got a report from Jovan Buha that the Lakers are expected to fire Darvin Ham sooner rather than later. It earlier said that it could happen as soon as today, but given that at the time of recording this video, the day's pretty much over, I don't see that necessarily happening, but the idea is that it should be on the horizon, which I know many people, self included, going to be very excited for that. Thing is we got to get it right with the head coach. We cannot fumble the bag once again whenever Darvin Ham ends up getting fired and we find that new coach. Well, there was a report that just came out per ESPN that JJ Redick is a leading candidate in a potential coaching job with the Los Angeles Lakers. Now, JJ Redick, watch Mind the Game. If you haven't seen that, it's the podcast with LeBron and JJ Redick. Not sponsored, by the way. Should say that because YouTube, but not sponsored by any stretch, just a fan of the show. All the technicalities and stuff that they get into, I really love that kind of side of the basketball game. And just watching that, you see JJ Redick, you see his ability to break down things and simplify it, right? Like when he's going over, technical questions, or he's going over different schemes, and he's going over the technical terms, right? He simplifies it and breaks it down for a normal audience. He has the basketball mind. There's no doubt about it. He has the pedigree. He has the competitive nature. He has the respect of many people in this league. He's not afraid of the moment. He's not afraid of the media. He's very outspoken. He's willing to say what he's got to say. He has all the tools necessary that you point and you look at and you go, man, that guy has that guy can be a great coach in this league, right? Also, the relationship with LeBron James, right? I mean, they have the Mind the Game podcast together. So JJ Redick also has a little bit of an in. Worth noting, I believe it's Charlotte Hornets. They're trying heavily to get JJ Redick as their head coach. But if he could get the Lakers job, he'll take the Lakers job. Right now, if he has to go be an assistant or something like that first, then I think he jumps over the Charlotte job. But if he can just jump right into the head coaching position, LeBron's giving him that letter of recommendation, I fully expect him to move into that role. Thing is that, do the Lakers look at it as a LeBron guy? Right? And granted, the Tyronn Lue situation and LeBron, it would be different than this JJ Redick situation. Also, JJ's young enough to where, he could be your head coach for the next 20 years if it works out. Right? You could be looking at a Greg Pop situation where he's just the head coach for, many adaptations of this Lakers roster. And that would be nice, right? If you could have a legit championship level head coach, a guy that really is technical, understands the game, the ins and outs for, the next 10, 20 years. It's a good opportunity if you can get that. Tyronn Lue, however, there was that do the Lakers really want a LeBron guy and give LeBron all that control and all that power? Many people still want Tyronn Lue. They should have hired him back then, but then they tried to shortchange him. I recently did a whole video on Ty Lue. Go check that out after this video. But the point is that, with Ty Lue, there's a lot of questions of does he become available if the Clippers end up getting eliminated in the first round? If that happens, there's kind of should the Lakers just go and get him? Is that the guy? But I actually think the Lakers, if it's say it's Ty Lue or JJ Redick, you almost kind of lean towards JJ Redick just because of the long-term tenure where it's Ty Lue post LeBron. But here's my concerns with JJ Redick. Again, like I said, love JJ Redick. I'm a Duke fan. I grew up since I was a little kid, Christian Laettner to JJ Redick to grew up with that, right? So my thing is that love Redick. I just want to kind of get that out of the way. But there's a lot of concerns with bringing in another new head coach that is a rookie that has to go through his rookie hiccups. Now again, maybe he's great. Right? Maybe he is one of those guys that can step in immediately and really change the franchise or change the organization, right? It's very possible. We've seen first-year head coaches win before. Ty Lue was one of them, right? Steve Kerr was a guy that came in and immediately kind of revamped Golden State Warriors. So, again, it's possible, but there's also the concerns of, now you've got the Darvin Ham situation. The Lakers keep trying to get this, which I get. Again, if you could get that guy that long-term makes a lot of sense, then why wouldn't you get that guy? Makes long-term sense, right? Even when you get to a potential rebuild or something like that. If you could have a guy that's your head coach for the next 20 years, do it, right? But you saw Luke Walton. He's the shiny toy that everyone wants, right? Like, he's looked at as the next big protege. He's the next big head coach. This is the guy that's going to, literally, like 90% of the teams in the league were vying to try to go get Luke Walton. Comes the Lakers, boom, can't. Right? He was so well received or thought to be a great head coach that as soon as he was fired, he got a new job. And now where is he? Right? Now the Darvin Ham situation. Darvin Ham had something like 11 interviews or something like that with like 11 different teams, 12 different teams. And he had offers from like 5 or 6 of it. Like, there were multiple teams that wanted Darvin Ham that, again, was looking at it as like, oh, this could be a championship level head coach. He chooses the Lakers job because the Lakers job is the big alluring job. Right? That's the job that, most coaches would want. And guess what happens? Now we're looking at him being gone. Now, again, maybe third time's the charm in the sense of like you go get a guy in JJ Redick and maybe he comes in and he asserts it and he takes over and he does a good job. But there's definitely questions in that regard because there's a lot more to being a head coach than just understanding the game, having the mind. I mean, some of the greatest minds the game has ever seen weren't great coaches and weren't able to actually be great. I mean, go look at Magic Johnson when he, like, there's been numerous occasions that point and go like, yeah, this guy was top fleet player, but as a head coach, he was awful. Right? Like, so just because you're a player, like, you look at a lot of the head coaches, a lot of like the big time successful ones, like some never even played in the league, right? I mean, they were usually around it and played college stuff, but some of them never even played in the league, or they were like role guys, right? Like, it's kind of odd, right? Like, so again, there's more to it than just understanding the game, though, right? You gotta be able to speak to the media. You gotta be able to handle egos. You gotta be able to manage the game from a coaching perspective. You gotta be able to get guys to buy in, right? Like, you got to be able to make the proper adjustments when the proper adjustments. You got to deal with the fans as soon as you have a bad moment or a bad season, all going like, get rid of this guy. Because as soon as JJ Redick, the Lakers lose a series with JJ Redick, I fire this, he's trash, he doesn't know what he's doing. Like, there's a lot that goes into being a head coach, right? There's a lot of like just structural things that he's never had to experience. There's a lot of things that go into it that he's never had to really figure out, right? That's why you see a lot of these head coaches, they go and they're assistants first and then work their way up the scale and get that head coach. Some of them even go back. I mean, Jason Kidd, right? He was terrible his first go around. I mean, he was creative, the cup spill thing, like there was some stuff, but like Jason Kidd, his first stint with what was Brooklyn, did not go very well. Like, goes to Milwaukee, a little better, but there was still a lot of questions like, is he the guy? Right? He ends up leaving. Right? He goes to the Lakers bench as the primary lead assistant. Great. He gets the head coaching job with Dallas. Right? But up until the last year and a half, 2 years, like when he first got there, Dallas fans weren't very happy. Dallas, hey, get rid of this guy, and they don't make the playoffs. Oh, look, this guy's trash, right? Like, he's not the head coach. We should have hired Kid. Now, people kind of, because you win and you have that success. But again, like, he had his struggles. He had his hiccups. There were a lot of questionable things that he had to learn and kind of grasp, right? Now, I'm not saying he was, ridiculously terrible, but there were a lot of things that you're just kind of like, yeah, maybe he's a little in over his head here. And maybe he doesn't really understand. I mean, Steve Nash is another guy, that excellent basketball mind, one of the greatest, just floor generals ever. One of the guy is up there. Head coach, atrocious. Right? It doesn't always translate, is my point. Right? It takes a little time to get into the swing of things. And like I said, with even Darvin Ham, right? Darvin Ham, maybe he does become a great head coach. Maybe he does eventually end up becoming that caliber. Right? But there's also the concern of you go with JJ Redick and now you kind of have the same hiccups as that. And yes, again, maybe he goes and ends up being a great head coach, but it's just, do we need that right now? Or do we need, if we were a young team, I said the same thing with Darvin Ham, if we were a young team that was on the kind of come up, we're still like, hey, we're still probably 2-3 years away before we're really getting into contention conversations, right? Let's say it's post LeBron, post AD, you kind of hit the reset button. Like, then fine. Like, keep Darvin Ham, let him kind of go through his hiccups, let him write out his contract. Let's see if there's any drastic improvements and if he can be better, right? But we're not in that position. We're in the win now position. We don't have time to mess around. LeBron's only getting older and getting closer to retirement. Anthony Davis, right? Again, he's only getting older. Right? Like, and both guys had an incredibly healthy season. Knock on wood. Hopefully that continues. But there's always the concern. Like, there's just a lot, right? So it's like these next few years are very precious for the Lakers. And you can't fumble that, but you can't run the risk of messing around and you end up missing again on a head coach. And now this is like the 5th head coach since like LeBron. It's like I don't know if that's the best approach here. Like, we're kind of in this like, again, JJ Redick, I wouldn't hate it. Like, if the Lakers sign JJ, I'm going to be pumped. I'm going to be hyped. Right? I'm not saying I'm against the idea by any stretch of the imagination. Again, want to make that clear. But these are definitely concerns that need to be discussed. And I hope that the Lakers are doing their due diligence on that. And I hope that if I'm thinking it, they should be thinking it too. Like, is this really the approach? Now, I'm not a fan of any of the other candidates right now, currently. Right? Like the Terry Stotts, the Mark Jacksons, the Van Gundys or something like that. Even Mike Budenholzer, like a lot of people are like, oh, what about Bud? Like, do you just want an upgraded version of Darvin Ham? Like this, where do you think everything Darvin Ham does is because of Bud. Bud was literally fired for the reasons that Darvin Ham is very likely to be fired. Right? So I don't really know if that's the best approach. So let's say there's no coach that becomes available that makes sense. Then yeah, go get JJ Redick. Because at that point, it's like, okay, you're going to sign Terry Stotts, or would you rather take a chance on JJ Redick? Right? Like, I'd rather take a chance on JJ Redick, personally. Right? So I think it depends on what's out there. Now, if Tyronn Lue were to become available, I personally kind of lean towards Lue, because again, at least he has the experience. He's already well received. He's a guy that, same thing, is respected. He understands. He gets it. He's won a championship. Long-term wise, like if the Lakers are like, we don't want to coach just for right now. We want to coach for now and the next 20 years, like I mentioned, then JJ Redick does make sense, right? Go get Redick. I would probably lean towards Redick. Like if I had the choice, like who do you want to sign? Like that's available right now. Again, Ty might make me think a little bit. Ty might kind of make me go, maybe we should kind of lean this way if we want to win right now. But if it's like the Field or Redick right now, give me JJ. I would take JJ. Like if I was Rob and Jeannie, I'd be like, let's sign JJ, because I just think that it's worth the risk, the juice worth the squeeze. I think LeBron kind of help him ease in. They're buddies like now, so there's not going to be like that friction. And I also think JJ Redick might kind of like let LeBron like listen to LeBron and kind of they kind of be a team thing rather than at times like Darvin Ham says one thing and LeBron kind of vetoes it. I think it would be kind of more of like a relationship. Like, dude, you're one of the greatest minds ever. I'm the head coach, right? Like, let's do this together, right? I have ideas, you have ideas. Like, I just think it could work to the Lakers' benefit. But there's definitely some pros and cons. Again, I'm all for it. If it happens, sign me up. I'll be pumped. I'll be excited. I'm ready. But there are some of those questions, just as there would be within it. Even Rondo, like if they sign Rondo, whoever, right? Still those questions of like, is that the best course of action? But anyway, as always, this is a discussion. Pass a question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Do you like the idea of JJ Redick potentially being the Lakers head coach? Do you think, no, you got to go with a more veteran-led guy, like a Terry Stotts or whatever? If Tyronn Lue were to become available, would you rather Lue over Redick, or do you think go with JJ? He's the guy that longer term, more upside. You kind of know what you get with Ty. Redick, like he could be the next great coach. Again, you never know, right? You never know until you actually do it. You never know until you actually try. Right? There's many, Steve Kerr. Again, if somebody asked, what do you think about it? You might have been like, what? Like Warrior fans, like, you just fired Mike Jackson for Steve? Like, what? Like, but again, that pop tree and stuff like that. My only concern is just like JJ not having any head coaching experience, right? Could be an issue. But again, love to your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. So we enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.